Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Colleen Meyer with Meyer Consulting, bringing you Fearless and Pink. And today we have an amazing guest, Miss Robin Allen. Robin, do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me here today, Dr. Meyer. And my name is Robin Allen. I am the CEO of Watchman Investigations and Consulting, LLC. We're a full-service investigative agency conducting background investigations and all types of fraud investigations. Additionally, I consult nationally on jail and prison management issues.
Do you know, Robin, that's really amazing. So tell me, how did you get into the field of private investigating? What about it that drew you into that field?
Well, it's less that I was drawn into the field and more that I was born into the field. Um, I'm, I am the daughter of a former law enforcement officer. I actually joined the probation department myself, so I am former law enforcement. I've been doing investigations, conducting investigations for over 20 years now. And I do look 25, right? but but yeah, I've been conducting investigations for over 20 years now, and I started out working with my dad, doing all types of investigations. I started out actually as a researcher, and then progressed into investigations. And when my dad decided to retire, then I was perfectly positioned to take over the company.
That's amazing. Robin, tell our audience what is maybe one of the challenges that you face in this industry and one of the benefits, like something that you really get something out of it, and then something that's a challenge.
Okay. Well, one of the things that is so challenging, I'd probably say, is being a female in this industry. In that, I have to advocate for myself to, basically be taken seriously, to let people know that, that I have the credibility and the knowledge to handle the various investigations and various prison and jail management issues. So I really find that I have to establish an environment of seriousness up front, so that I can kind of disarm my clients. So that's one of the issues that can sometimes be challenging. Um, One of the things that is most gratifying is being able to have, because with investigations, we can never guarantee the end result, but it's so gratifying when your client is seeking one thing or another, and you're able to actually deliver the answers that they were looking for, and it's very gratifying.
That's great. Robin, you mentioned about being a female in a men's kind of dominated field.
Mhm.
And what would you say to other females that might be in this similar situation? You said that, you come off, right from the get-go as confident and strong. Is there any other tips that you can give maybe other females that are either in a male dominant field, or they just want to be more assertive and lean in at their place of employment?
Yeah, well, you have to move forward with the three P's, I'll call it. You have to move forward with purpose, passion, and um, power, right? So you just
Right.
got to step into, the role, arm yourself, equip yourself with the knowledge that you need to move forward, and then you have to move forward with power. And one of the things that some of my elder family members would always say is fake it until you make it.
Mhm.
Okay, fake it until you make it. Equip yourself with knowledge. Equip yourself with all of the tools that are necessary to be successful. So I just say preparation. That's another good P.
Mhm.
When you prepare yourself for the role, and that's through reading, that's through connecting with your resources, that's through collaborating with partners,
Mhm.
that's through taking classes. When you gain that knowledge, you tend to be able to really step into that power, that passion, and your purpose.
That's amazing. Now, I know that you are very involved in women advocacy here in the state where we're both in, which is California. Tell me about the passion that you have for advocating for women business owners.
Well, we have to step up, and in the same way, right? You have purpose, you have passion, and you have to step into your power. And so, in order to create or to have a seat at the table, sometimes you have to create that seat at the table. So what I do is collaborate with women all over California to make sure that our needs, our concerns, and the issues that impact women, and particularly women business owners, that we are having a seat at the table and those needs are being met. And so what I do is meet with legislators. I develop work groups where we can discuss issues and work our way through issues, meet with legislators to voice our issues and our concerns. And if you don't advocate for yourself, then who's going to advocate for you? That's really my question. And so I think that it's very important for women and women business owners to really step into that purpose. And part of your purpose as a woman business owner is to advocate for yourself. And the way to do that is by joining organizations where that is part of their mission, creating your own organization or your own group where you also voice your concerns. But in any event, right, there's strength in numbers.
Mhm.
Right. So when you join associations and you have more of a voice and more of a seat at the table, and you're really able to create that opportunity. But yeah, that is one of the things that is near and dear to my heart is and as I have grown more mature in my own business, I realize even more the importance of advocacy. Right. And if
Mhm.
you don't arm yourself with the knowledge of these laws and legislation, then you're still going to be subject to them. And so
Mhm.
why not, be one of the people that is at the table creating the legislation
Mhm.
rather than just being subject to it.
You know what? I like what you said about joining organizations because, you know, some women, business owners, they hear the word advocacy and they kind of turn off.
Mhm.
And it's not always about you as an individual. I mean, it can be, but it, like
Right.
you were saying, it's stronger in numbers. And if they get behind a organization that is advocating for women business owners, it's that group, it's that whole, they can be
Right.
part of. And so they can
Right.
get their voices heard without having to do, the go down there and, sit in all the meetings or reaching to all your state legislative bodies. So it's very
Mhm.
important that I think women do that. But, what's also important is, do you tell me if you agree that getting involved in your city or your county, laws that affect women business owners, don't you agree with that?
Yo, absolutely. I believe, locally, statewide and nationally, it's important to be involved because, like I said, you're still going to be subject to, laws and legislation that impact you locally, statewide, and nationally. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
You got
and
to
I
really pay attention. You just really have to pay attention and really stay abreast of these issues because some of these issues can really impact you in a negative way.
Mhm.
And it's important to be able to set up infrastructure that allows you to navigate, the
Mhm,
laws and legislation, because sometimes it can be very challenging.
mhm. And I think if you're a woman business owner and you are involved in that type of work, you also don't get behind the eight ball when it comes to new laws that are coming out.
Right.
That are going to affect you in your business in the long run. That's amazing.
Yeah. And actually some of these laws and legislation can actually bring your business down. I mean, everything that you worked for. So, I mean, that is one of the reasons why you want to, advocate for yourself, not only with legislators and with groups and associations to create the laws, but then you have to advocate for yourself on the other end when you become subject to the laws.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely double-sided and a dual sort of advocacy, if you will.
Yeah. Let's go back to Watchman Investigations for a minute. So let's picture you so many years back, and you are now, like you said, you were born into this business, so to speak. But when you first entered it, if you can go back and speak to that Robin from now and for this Robin to that Robin, what would you say? What advice would you give her?
Well, that's an interesting question because hindsight is always 2020, right? And what
Right.
do they say? Youth is wasted on the young.
Yep.
At that time, I was also in college. And so there were so many different things pulling for my attention. And
Mhm.
like I said, I was born into this business. And so I didn't really pay as much attention to what I was doing as I am now. And I wasn't as involved in the creation of the organization, even though I was there. And
Mhm.
so, what I would say to my younger self is that you should be intentional
Mhm.
about what you're doing and be present.
Mm.
Be present. Be present so that you understand the way that the organization works. Be present to all of the different facets of the organization. And I really believe at that time, I really was just doing the work to gain a paycheck, but not
Mm.
really understanding that I was gaining this vast knowledge that one day, I would take over the company and need to put all of those puzzle pieces together. So, what I would say to the younger Robin is to be present, pay attention, and be intentional. So, I know that there are probably people out there that need to hear that.
Yeah.
Is you may be just in the rat race, but you're not really there. So, be intentional.
That reminds me, a lot of people, um, including women business owners, they'll either, inherit a business that's a family business,
Right.
or they will buy a pre-existing, let's say, franchise or another business from an owner that's been in business for a while. And when we take over something like that, whether it is a family or you're purchasing it, there's that change management that happens, right? Because we're not our family, we're not that person who owned the business before as franchisee or small business owner. So did you have any struggles with that kind of change management and taking it into the vision that you, Robin Allen, wanted to have for Watchman Investigations?
Yeah, I really think that that's just an ongoing process, right? Because,
Mm-hmm.
definitely the experience that my dad had when he created the company, coming straight out of, sheriff's department, work, that wasn't my experience. And even though, I am also a former law enforcement officers
Mm-hmm.
for a different agency, the type of work was different, the types of things that that I'm passionate about are different. And so yeah, there was definitely, and there still is, an ongoing need to create the vision that I have for the organization. And what I can say now is that I definitely am moving forward with intention. I'm very present. in the direction that I want the organization to go moving forward. And so one of the changes that I made in the organization is that because my experience also was more academic than my father's. You know, I have a master's in public administration, and I spent a lot of time doing work with a renowned criminologist, doing research. I kind of shaped the company to not only be an investigations company, but to also be a consulting company. So, you know,
Do you
I
want
just
to,
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, Robin.
Yeah.
You said you do consulting too. So can you share what that looks like? So it's Watchman Investigations. We get the investigations part. So tell us about what the consulting part looks like.
Okay. Well, with the let me start with the investigations, and then I'll work my
All
way
right.
over to the consulting, because you know, I also believe that, you know, it's important kind of to not spread myself too thin, to marry the two ideas or organizations, if you will. So hence investigations and consulting. But with investigations, I work for private individuals as well as law firms, as well as organizations and companies, conducting investigations that, you know, are background investigations, asset investigations, insurance investigations, family law, civil investigations, all types of investigations. But with the consulting, what I do is provide a research-based research-based support to law firms and to, you know, various clients, agencies, and organizations to meet their needs. And those needs are varied just depending on what the assignment is. But like I said, you know, a lot of the consulting deals with issues surrounding diversity, issues surrounding community and police relations, issues that are jail and management related. So I really deal with a lot of justice system issues. So I don't know if that really makes sense, but part of investigations I is research. You know, it just is. And so I've become, you know, and especially, you know, with going through my graduate programs, I've become a skilled researcher, I'll call it. So, you know, I'm able to use those skills in investigations as well as with justice system issues, which, you know, is important in order to get the most informed and most effective and efficient results.
You know, I know that you do the community work, and I find that amazing because, you know, you give back in so many ways with your experiences and your passions, and that's amazing. If someone wanted to get a hold of you, say, I'm going to call Robin and I want to work with her on a project, you know, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way is going to be email. Email me at Robin, ROBIN, at watchmaninvestigations.com. You can also find me at watchmaninvestigations.com. That's WATCHMAN investigations.com. Thank you so much, Dr. Meyer.
You know, and we'll make sure that we put all your information along with this this broadcast out there for people. So I just want to say thank you very much, and, you know, for coming in and sharing your wisdom with us, and we appreciate it, Robin. Thank you so much.